No, let me put him in the other room while you're doing that. Now then, welcome to a very, very special Orta Know Better podcast. It's been a monumental day. It's historic. Not because of that other bullshit, but because we're on live tonight. You've got myself tonight, Jay. You've got podcast regulars, Gilly, Smarty, and Carl. How are you boys doing?
Bonjour.
Not bad.
We'll also be featuring my cat at some point because he won't piss off and he likes to pop up and do his alarm call whenever he feels like
The only
it.
pussy that hangs around Jay.
No, not now the hair's cut, pal. Back in business.
So top down.
Right, so without further ado, we're just going to get straight into it here, and I'm going to go to you, Gilly, and we'll kick off with the predictions from the previous game.
Yeah, no worries. So we're in a position where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people got nothing. And 2 people got points. One of those people were Mez with a 3-all draw, so he gets the 3 points. And one of those people were Bren with a 1-all draw, which means he gets a maximum and goes top of the league by 3 points.
You.
Smarty, we'll come to you. How do you feel?
Class is permanent, mate. I've been towards top of the league all fucking season. These part-timers have these little flicks. Fuck them. Feed them right.
Should that say Smarty_BFC?
Yeah.
You Brentford little bastard.
Big fucking cock.
Thanks.
Quick for you, Smarty. Quick for you.
So, so just to run down the league, we've got Brent at the top on 20 points, Smarty on 17, Luke on 16. We've got Jay, myself, and Si. Then running down Becky, Emrenda, Stats, Carl. And then on 1 point with Adam, Shannon's got no points, and Jason on -4.
Well, he deserves that. Some of the results he's picked, I tell you. Right, well, I guess that takes us into last night's game then, and what an epic that was, eh? Coming off that Man City game, which were arguably the best game of football we've seen since Champions League days. I guess confidence was high going at that one, and we were looking forward to it and hoping for good things. And then on top of that, we got all the other sort of distractions, which we'll get into shortly. It's safe to say we were probably hoping that their heads would be a little bit gone and they'd be a bit distracted. And I were hoping for a win myself, to be honest, but I'm not massively disappointed about getting a point at the end of the day. You're still playing Liverpool. It's still a good result. And I think we made a really good account of ourselves. What do you reckon, Carl?
I was on the Berardi and Coke last night, and I did think we were terrible in the first half. Everything was sloppy, but the second half was. I've kind of been starting to become accustomed to us having like an off first half every now and again, and then coming out in the second half and, absolutely taking it to teams. And last night was another one of them games, but like I kind of got slated on the pod and a bit on Twitter as well about my lack of man of the match nomination.
Nobody was good enough to get man of the match.
I'm not saying no one wasn't good. Look, all I'm saying is it was one of them games, right, where everyone played quite well, and there was no standout player for me. I think the goal just highlighted why everyone kind of gave Llorente that, and I don't know. For me, it was just a good performance against a Liverpool team who'd won 3 on the trot, but we'd won 3 on the trot, so that wasn't really relevant. We're not that far behind them. I just think it was a good performance. We got the result that we kind of expected going into it. Let's be honest. After the first game, we thought maybe it was going to be another basketball match, but it didn't, and it was I did enjoy it, but I didn't think the abuse I got online was merited.
Carl. I was with you. I didn't.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think anybody particularly stood out, and I think in that scenario, you give man of the match to the guy that got the goal, don't you? I mean, people are arguing.
Oh, you could just give it to him because he was the best player on fucking pitch, like.
I mean, to be fair, Carl, alarm bells should be
Pal.
ringing. You sat there saying something, and Jay's saying, "Yes, I agree."
Oh, Jesus! No. Look, I got to hold on there, like, because I thought Jota played absolutely brilliant in the middle of the park, if I'm being honest, and he could have. Look, don't give me that, you know, twisted lip thing there now, Smarty. All right, he absolutely turned Calvin inside out a couple of times, and it wasn't a very intricate turn that he did. And there was a few of them where he then played a good final ball, but just they don't seem to be firing up front as they were last season for Liverpool. But he could have in Liverpool fans' eyes, he could have easily got man of the match. He did have a good bit of control in the midfield for me.
Well, while you're tonguing Liverpool hoops, I think it was Alisson that got man of the match.
Was it for them?
I think Alisson played well as well, but I just want to
it could have
run
been him
down.
or it could have been anyone.
Just want to run down Llorente's data from the game, where he had 85 out of 91 passes were successful, which is the most in the game. 8 ball recoveries, which was joint most in the game. 4 tackles won, which was the most in the game. 3 blocks won. 3 blocks, which was the most in the game. 3 defensive aerial duels won, which was the most in the game. 2 out of 2 successful take-ons, 2 headed clearances, 1 interception, 1 shot on target, 1 goal.
Where's the stat about how many times he got caught wrong side of his man? I didn't hear that one.
Fucking hell.
Some fan you are.
Man, I'm
Call
sitting
yourself
here
a
going,
Leeds fan.
Sorry. He's moved his sights from Cooper to fucking Llorente, hasn't he? The
He
shit.
has, hasn't he?
Yeah, fuck.
What's wrong with you,
Why
man?
do you hate Leeds players, Jay?
I don't actually.
Why do you hate our team so much?
All I was saying to you, where I don't think he stood out massively, I wasn't saying that he was crap or anyone was bad. So you can stop with that shit right now.
Yeah, it's like it's a bit, the way it is, I guess. But it was just
we've got that weird Luke commenting again. That guy who is on another planet.
We've got some fucking Sean Dyche lookalike spamming the comment.
Just don't need it, do you?
That's all I have to say now.
No.
That's all I have to say about the game because I've just been hung out to dry with the Llorente stats again. So I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. See, that's it. Now I'm never calling a man of the match again, and I'm never ever giving you a drunken prediction. You can all fuck off.
The problem that we had is that you wouldn't call a man of the match.
That's the thing. Yeah, no. That's it. It's just like no, forget it. I'm done. No predictions. No man of the matches. No, fuck it.
There's no fucking point you've been here. You may as well fuck off.
Yeah.
Comments, lads. All right. How are we doing?
I'm only here for the crack.
He's done now. He's just going to sit in background from now on and just sit there and pull that face he does when his internet freezes. Go on, Gilly. What were you saying about last night?
Echoing really. First half was dour. It was one of the worst performances from. I get what you're saying about the first half being poor and the second half being good for us, but that was a particularly bad one. We weren't hitting the accurate passes that we normally do. We weren't sucking at pressure that we normally can manage. We weren't breaking. We weren't hurting them. But we weren't really getting at them. We had a lot of the ball without really doing anything with it for the first at least 25 minutes anyway. So that first half was poor. I think into the second half there were some obvious clear differences, and I think I saw a stat where we'd made more opportunities in a 45 minutes against Liverpool than anybody else this season. I think was the stat. It was an up and down game, but then it had been an absolute mad and ludicrous 24 hours beforehand, and you don't know how much of that plays into it. Even the Leeds players would have heard the chants going on. There were Liverpool fans and Leeds fans outside. It's going to have impacted what were going on. So you don't know how much of an impact that had. So certainly the fact that you had somebody crying before the game about the fact that some T-shirts had been left in the changing room for him to join in with something, that's probably affected them.
It's a good job he's never to play against Derby County, yeah.
So
it's a T-shirt.
Yeah. So I avoided it last night, and I'm not going to say it now about the t-shirts that Liverpool have worn in the past. But if you just Google Carragher and t-shirts, I'm sure you'll find some stuff. Yeah. So all in all, I think the fact that we've gone, what is it, 4 of the Super League teams at Elland Road without losing, out of 4 this season so far, and we've still Spurs and
Scum
to play at home.
Yeah.
He's pretty good. I'd take that.
Yeah,
it's not bad, is it? Some sort of Super League, that I tell you. We've won the title more recently than Spurs.
That's
I think they've only won.
So is everybody else. It was 60s,
yeah.
They've only won 2 cups. I think it's 2 League Cups in the last 30 years, isn't it, or something like that? They've only won.
Delusions of grandeur sort of club, aren't they? It's like, they've no right being there on a sort of history basis. They've never really done much.
They're a self-proclaimed top 6, but anyway, we'll get into that in a bit. Sorry.
We will, yeah. What did you think about it all, Smarty, about the game and stuff?
Like I said, I can't really disagree with what you guys have already said, to be honest. I think we were sloppy in first half. I think we stood off them a little bit, maybe give them a little bit too much respect from me. The interchanges of play weren't as accurate and as short and sharp as we were probably normally used to. They were probably a little bit doing little interchanges and all that sort of stuff, 10, 15 yards away. But when you're 30, 40 yards away from your player and having your keeper to come out, it's you're dicing with death there, aren't you? And obviously we were punished for it. But, yeah, I wasn't comfortable. I expected more. But like you say, they weren't firing on all cylinders either by the looks of it. So, maybe they had all this shit flying around in their heads. It's probably had some sort of, I don't know, mental, maybe it got into their heads. I don't know. Yeah. But apart from that, maybe last 72 minutes, I noticed Alisson started to do a little bit of time wasting and stuff. And at that point, I thought, here we go. We could probably nick something here. And I thought we were absolutely fantastic. Second half, quite good, but in the last 20 minutes at least, I thought we were absolutely fantastic. I thought we were brilliant. So, I'd still fucking save it all and trade it all to beat these pricks on Saturday.
I know. Well, that's it, isn't it? But I mean, we've come on strong at the end of games now, and that's just got to be down to that fitness that we've got, and beyond the burnout. There's no evidence of that this season, is there? So
I'm still waiting for it to kick in.
Yeah, there hasn't ever been, Jay.
No, I know. I'm just saying it still gets bandied about a bit, doesn't it? Not so much now, but you still hear it here and there. But yeah, if I'd planned this better, I would have gone to you first, Smarty, because I've got to come back to you now for the poll. So you're getting an extended run here, pal.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, they fucking love a bit of Smarty. Well, we normally introduced the poll with many options, but this week we only had really one option. 2 if you include the lilac shirt, which Jay's got pre-orders in for because he loves it.
Right.
So the winner by unanimous vote was the ESL Super League Wankers, which, like I said, we've already mentioned. We'll probably keep talking about this for a long, long time to come. But,
yes,
Gilly, would you like to kick off? What are your thoughts regarding the ESL?
Yeah, so in terms of timing, it's an interesting one. So I don't know if you guys are aware, but the UEFA annual ordinary meeting was actually today. And I don't know how much of it. So, there were a lot of questions over timing across the last 48 hours of why have they timed it now? Why not wait until the end of the season and so on? And I think that was cynically timed to coincide with UEFA getting together so that they could force change. That's what it feels like to me now. And I think that you've got some clubs that kind of the rumours were, you look at Man City, you look at Chelsea, they don't need the money, they've got the money. So they don't need the money in the way that some do. Juve is struggling, AC is struggling, Inter is struggling, Barca are. I don't know about Real's situation. They tend to get bankrolled, so they'll struggle for a while, and then Royal Family will just give them a wad of cash, and they'll be all right for a while again.
Yeah.
But you're in a situation where the scum have been in debt to their eyeballs for years. Liverpool are shit, Arsenal are shit, Spurs are shit. So, they needed to do something different to try and improve their lot. or to try and maintain and not lose out. But for me, I think now that we recognise that the ordinary meeting was actually today, and that's why we heard from some of the spokespeople at UEFA today, is because they were all together already. So we had Seferin that came out and was quoted coming out and saying, we're in a situation where the thing that really matters most is that there's still time to change your mind. Everybody makes mistakes, was the comment that he said. But from that sort of perspective, what you had was him appealing directly to the clubs to say, don't make this big mistake. You've already made a mistake. Don't make a bigger mistake by sticking with it. And that really was a call out to those clubs that were rumoured to have not been entirely invested in what were going on. I think City and Chelsea were rumoured of feeling like they'd kind of been put in a position where they couldn't say no because they were going to miss out. Yeah. But really, they didn't really want to go through with it. I think it is what we were hearing from some independent journos that kind of have the inside track. I'm not in the nose, but actual professional journos that do this for a living. So, we're in a situation where that we got those comments, and we've potentially got some movement from UEFA where they've come out with additional investment that's been made available, funnily enough, today. That's going to price match what the investment banks that we're going to be putting up the Super League we're going to put in place, which is really crazy. We've then got the fact that the Competition and Markets Authority were called upon to get involved by parliamentary opposition. So Keir Starmer came out and said, there has to be an investigation into this. You had Reuters that were reporting on Spanish courts saying that they're not going to block they're not going to allow FIFA and UEFA to block what these clubs were doing. And you've got all of this noise all of the time. It's really difficult to keep a track of what's going on. But then now we've got, as Will's just mentioned, Ed Woodward's gone. So it would appear that he's jumped. Will's also just mentioned that well, potentially, but Will's also mentioned that Juve's chief exec has jumped. Now, Juve's chief exec, I don't know if you guys know, was also the chairman of the ECA, which is effectively a body of it's a representative body for European clubs. Now, the problem with that, even just that bit, the problem with that is if he's the chairperson and the representative of all of those clubs, but in actual fact was only representing 12 to 15 clubs, that's where that becomes a problem. And this is where really, and the crux of it for me, and what needs to really be a watershed moment now is there needs to be independent arbiters outside of the game. And, they might have a history in the game. They might have a part in the game previously. But for us to be in a position where all of the power resides with clubs, there's that much money now in that game. When we were talking last night on the B&C, we were talking about the NFL and the fact that they can appeal to 300 to 350 million people for their audience, whereas football has 4 billion plus. The amount of money that can be made by the Far Eastern markets and so on is just an unreal amount in comparison to what they can make in the NFL. And they're signing $12 billion contracts in the NFL. We need to be in a position where the people that are motivated by money in the game are not the people that are making the decisions. And at this point in time, you've got FIFA and UEFA that are effectively powerless, and the power resides with the clubs. Now, that's fine, but we had 14 clubs that attended a meeting today. If those 6 clubs had been a little bit more clever about it and got half of them on side before they made these announcements and said, don't you worry, we'll look after you, then what would have happened? It would have gone through. There has to be a watershed moment, and there has to be independent arbitration to say, you can't do that. You are a thief. You are a crook. This is for your benefit, not the club's benefit, not the game's benefit, your benefit and your benefit alone. Get fucked.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Interesting comment from Mark Aspen. Do you think there should be punishment for the 6 English clubs, even if they pull out of the ESL? Carl, what's your thoughts on that? Any sort of sanctions or punishments for the 6 that have obviously intended and leaving? Well, not necessarily leaving the Premier League, but obviously join another league. What are your thoughts regarding possible punishments or sanctions?
I personally think that they should get punished to the full extent of the law. They brought the English game, the national game, into this serious disrepute. And
Damn right.
look, if it was us, well, everyone would be calling for us to be put into administration and relegated to non-league. I'm not just
They've
saying
got
it
us wound
because
up.
I'm not just saying I'm not saying it because it's us and it's our turn to say it. That they haven't, like Gilly said, they haven't thought really about the impact it's going to have on everyone else. They've just thought about themselves and the money that they can make. And I just don't see how the English FA and the Premier League can't look at that and go, right, we don't care now. They've tainted their names as the Big Six. There's no Big Six anymore. There's none of that crack. Level playing field now. Use a lot have got a serious points deduction and find them as much as they can find them as a club. And each club is fined the same amount.
Yeah.
And that money is not gone into the FA. That money is gone to the clubs that they were about to neglect in the lower leagues, in the Championship, in League One, in League Two, in the National League, all the way down to grassroots. That money is ploughed back into the national game in the lower leagues. They can't be seen to think that they can go and get away with this and just think, oh yeah, sure, no one's going to do anything. They've shown their true colours now. Granted, like Gilly said, Chelsea and City might have seemed like they were being pushed a bit, pushed along and thought, sure, we don't want to miss out on the party, but they shouldn't get away with it. There's absolutely no rhyme nor reason that they should get away with it. They need to set a precedent now that this can never, ever, ever even be talked about again. This needs to be so hammered home that if you even try and even whisper about starting another league anywhere, regardless of the way it's going to work out, you're gone. That's it. This is the turning point. It has to be put to a stop now. And I think a fine, massive fine for each club, plough it into the lower leagues. We've watched Bury go out of existence while these fuckers were sitting there planning this 12 months ago. We've watched clubs to go to the brink and have to furlough players, their livelihood in the lower leagues. This is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
Wow.
And the fine should reflect how angry and deceitful they've been. If they were going to make 350 billion each of it, right, you're getting at least half of that in a fine, and that's where it's going, into the lower leagues and into grassroots. That's my opinion on them.
I mean, you've only to go back. During the pandemic, Arsenal were shelling out millions and millions and millions of pounds in player contracts and stuff. Yet furloughing Christ knows how many staff. And I'm sure that there were many Premier League clubs that were doing the same. Leeds, thankfully, they took pay cuts, so they allowed the other staff around the club, involved in the club, to be paid. But Connor,
Can I just say Pargonosaurus?
Yeah. One interrupt.
Ozil paid
that poor
for his wages, didn't he, or something? I heard.
Yeah, apparently so.
I'm going to come to that. Jay, what are your thoughts, mate? What more can you add, really? Apart that these two have covered it quite well, to be honest. But what are your thoughts,
To be honest, I mean, kind of what Carl hinted at there is these clubs, they think or thought that they were bigger than the game. Do you know what I mean? They thought they were bigger than national FAs and UEFA and FIFA. They thought they could just do what they wanted, and because they're that big, they'd just get away with it, and people would bend over and take it and roll out a red carpet for it. They've been shown that's not the case, and I think that they're pretty shocked by the backlash. I think they probably expected some pushback, but not this. I mean, planes flying over grounds, protests, fans from all different clubs uniting, managers, players coming out against it. My cat protesting against it. And
Cat's not happy.
He's not. And I think that they're truly shocked by this, and it's panicked a lot of them. And there's a very real prospect of supporters walking away from some of these clubs, and that's obviously panicked them because that hits them in the pocket, and that's all these people care about. And I do feel sorry for some of the managers and stuff. They've been thrown under the bus and then sent out to speak to the media without any real prep. And there's a couple of interesting points that I wanted to bring up about this. One is Sky saying that we've had naught to do with this, Don't pretend you're doing us a favour, Sky. You're not doing us a favour. This hurts you if it goes ahead. These teams and this Super League wouldn't need Sky. It'd be a streaming model with a subscription service. You know what I mean? It's the new age. We don't need all that shit paying £70 a month for watching fucking Burnley versus Palace and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So they're not doing us any favours there.
What's wrong with Burnley versus Palace? Yeah.
I don't want to. I'm not getting into that. And another interesting thing that I heard today on Talkshite of all places was one of the ex-pros on there. I can't remember who it was. It was either one of the ex-pros or it might have been Simon Jordan. I can't remember. But basically said it'd end up being like a European MLS, you know, where like if these players can't play for the country and stuff, they're not going to play in it. So they're going to wait till they've made the money and retired from international football. Then they're going to go there and make more money. It'll be
I think what you were doing is
players.
You were listening to me and Carl say that last night on B&C, I think is what you were listening to.
Do you know what, mate? It could have been. I watched that.
Who's your fault?
I'm that tired. I can't remember what's what today, to be honest with you. I'm sure they said something like that, but yeah. Maybe you're just like on the same page. Maybe you should be a
maybe so.
Gilly.
Maybe so.
It's like Simon Jordan.
Oh, don't do that to us, Gilly, man.
No, I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you saw. Luke was just saying about Florentino Perez. They can't leave. They signed a contract. Well, it's seeming though City and Chelsea are, and he's now shared. Apparently, it's come out while we've been online that Liverpool are as well. I just wanted to mention a few things that have come out. So he did actually say that they were doing this to save football. This was his approach to save football. Another thing that he said was maybe one of the things that we need to do to increase the appeal to young people is to shorten the games.
Oh, fuck off!
I mean, what? But smaller clubs will benefit. Yeah, but smaller clubs will benefit from the bigger clubs having all of this money because the bigger clubs will spend all of the money on the smaller clubs' players.
Exactly.
Hang on a minute. What?
Spurs and Arsenal just signed up to something to be bottom of it every year.
But Spurs would be bottom of it every year, wouldn't they?
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, but the one thing that he did say that he's probably going to turn out to be accurate that somebody's just shared with me on WhatsApp is Real Madrid president says European Super League will save football. Now, that might be 100% accurate because if this turns into a watershed moment, then we go, look, enough is enough, and you can't. Oh, no, I've done it.
Oh, he's done
it. Football. I've saved it. I've inadvertently saved football.
I've inadvertently dropped a Steve bomb, but anyway.
It's a special occasion, Gilly. We'll let you on.
There you go. I mean, and he is one. He absolutely is one. But it may be that they will save football by doing this and then being told to go swivel and getting booted out of the game.
That's clever.
We'll be joining Woodward and the rest of them.
I mean, could the FAs or the governing bodies, could they disqualify them from the season competitions? I mean, surely they could. They could all end up bottom of the league and get relegated because they were disqualified.
Rule L9 in the Premier League handbook states you can only enter into the competitions that are explicitly named in the handbook itself. And funnily enough, the European Super League is not present.
Really?
You've got the Champions League, the Europa, the FA Cup, the Community Shield, the League Cup, and the actual Football League. Those are your competitions that you could. So it's competitions that are sanctioned by the county association that falls into it. So you've effectively, I think, got 7 in there. And funnily enough, the Super League is not one of them.
Did you see the thing about the World Cup? Was it Perez again that said if players can't play in the World Cup, we'll have our own World Cup or something like that? What are you going to do? Have 5 aside?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's short minutes of the game. You might as well have small-sided football as well, aren't you?
It's just bonkers, man. These people are crazy. They're in a fantasy world and they're so far removed from normal people and being told, no, you can't have something. That they just didn't think this would happen. They thought they could get away with it. It just boils my blood.
We'll just send in a load of Morris dancers. Yeah. We'll send in a load of Cornish Morris dancers to represent England with the World Cup.
They're very much out of touch, like.
Yeah.
They're crackers.
Very much out of touch. And to think that they could actually pull it off is it's baffling, really. Like, but anyway,
the fact that so many
anyway.
people have come together across the footballing world and stuff like that, it just speaks volumes, doesn't it? We had Liverpool fans
unprecedented.
outside Ellen Road last night protesting, demonstrating, whatever you want to call it, with Leeds fans. And it's just, I've never seen anything kick off like this before. I mean, I'm not old enough to have experienced when they're bringing in the Premier League. Jay might be, Carl might be, Matt might be. I'm the baby of the group.
There's never been anything that's united football fans, regardless of rivalries.
No.
It's never.
No.
They may actually, like Gillian says, have saved the game, just not in the way that they thought.
Yeah. It's completely had an adverse effect.
The names next week.
But yeah, I think we've covered it. I think we are planning some sort of get together soiree, so to speak, tomorrow. But we'll tweet out. We'll let people know about that. That's not definitely it, but it's in the pipeline. We'll get a few people together and have a bit of a chin wag. Fans from other clubs and all that sort of stuff. So
we're trying to pull that together. So we'll see what happens. It's a bit last minute, a bit chaotic, but hopefully, all being well, we'll have another special for people. So yeah, I think that kind of covers the ESL nicely there. Hopefully, we'll never have to mention that shit again. And,
until tomorrow.
Yeah.
On the main podcast,
on our special.
Mid-flow.
Jay will be there.
Sorry, Jay.
He'll be feeding his cat.
Well, I probably will be actually. So yeah, Amazon,
we do have a question from the audience.
Amazon, pal. If Amazon want to sponsor us, I'm happy to use different straws that they've got.
Metal straw.
Yeah.
Serial killer. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with normal fucking straw?
Bang it in the dishwasher, mate. You know what I mean?
Fuck's
Anyone breaks in at night, you jam it straight through the fucking eye.
They'd be good for taking to McDonald's or something, actually, them. So you don't get that flimsy shit that they fucking give you at last 5 minutes.
There you go,
Just buy a box of straws out in IKEA.
We've gone from ESL to straws.
That means having
Tell you what,
places.
we don't miss a beat on this pod, do we?
No, we're at the cutting edge. No, nobody watching this has seen metal straws. Now they know. We bring culture to the masses. That's what we do on OKB.
Only the best for brawling.
Damn right. Anyway, moving on from straws. We've got the next game coming up, and it's against our favourites, the horrible scum bastards, who we can now hate twice as much, if that's possible. Smarty, what do you reckon to the next game? What do you think? Any comments on it? I
have many things to say, but I'll try and keep it brief. I would love to do a Keegan. I'd love to fucking beat these pricks. Honestly, we owe them one as well. And I think if the last two games are anything to go by, our lads should be absolutely brimming with confidence. We've played two teams, in my opinion, that are better than them. But like I say, it's one of them, and it's Man U. There's a lot of pressure. The guys will want to win. There were a big build up last time, and we got fucking pumped by them. My life was a misery for a fucking week until next game, But we've got the tools to do it. Hopefully, Rafinha will be back. I was very impressed with Paveda when he came on the field. I'd start him over fucking Costa any day. And I would love to see Pablo in the mix as well, because I really just don't. I'm not going to start slandering players because I think all players are great. But I'm not really that impressed with Tyler Roberts. I'm not feeling that he brings anything to the fucking team, really. He's sharp and he can do a little bit of good passing, but when he fucking planted that shot straight in Alisson's arms yesterday, I was like, fucking hell. What is he fucking doing? So anyway, I'm not going there. I'm not going to start fucking beating up on players and stuff like that. They're a good team. They've got some good quality, but so have we. And if we stick to us plan, if we keep doing what we've been doing against City, especially, be very, very strong at the back. Llorente, he's absolutely class. Don't know about Cooper. Don't know whether he'll be back, but Struik seems to be doing a good job as well. So hopefully, this time around, we will do better. Hopefully.
I want to see Rafinha running at Harry Maguire. I just want to see that big fridge head shit himself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'll be nice. Turmoil, little lad. He just won't know which way he's gone. Do you know what I mean? Gilly, what are your thoughts on it?
I think a lot of it does depend on getting Rafinha back fit. It was pretty obvious last night that we missed him. I think against the fit and fire in Liverpool, they'd have been out of sight by half time. And that does worry me a little. But having said that, Llorente was marvelous in the game. For me, he was man of the match.
Absolute man of the match performance, really.
I think we're in a position now where we've had some really weird games recently. That City game was completely unbelievable, but then you get to the European Super League, and then what even is unbelievable anymore, and then we play Liverpool, and we've nothing to fear from any side anywhere actually now. We've proven that we can go toe to toe with teams, and I would love it. I would love it if we beat them. But like I said, nothing to fear from them. Let's get at it, and I think that we will. I think we'll beat them.
It's a crime that we can't be there. It really is.
He says he thinks we'll beat him. Wait for his prediction being 1-1.
No, because that means I think that they were going to beat us. I'm going to go with a win.
Well, they're going to draw.
Carl, what are you saying?
I like the fact that Ole has now put Dean Henderson in goal, and I fancy our chances. Look, I think we're in a far better position to play them now than we were when we played them the first time, and I don't think they're going to come into the game looking at how we played against Liverpool and how we played against City, and I don't think they're going to come into the game and be half as cocky as they were the last time, regardless of whether they're sitting in the table. I think they're vulnerable if we can get at them, and like you said, I'd love to see Rafinha rip into Fridgehead and Shaw and just make absolute mincemeat of the two of them. And even if it is only a 1-1 draw or whatever, as long as that happens and he shows up Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw for the Fridgehead and Teletubby looking motherfucker that they are, then I'd be happy enough with that. But again, it's just how we start. Hopefully we don't have a first half like we did yesterday, because they can punish us. Rashford will probably punish us if we have a first half like we did yesterday. But if we start well, I think we have every chance of doing it.
It'd be a shame if McTominay got a broken ankle or something, wasn't it, by accident?
Yeah.
But it's a different kettle of fish now, because we're a different proposition than we were then when we played them. They would have looked at us, I think, as this newly promoted team that they could probably bully a bit because they're a big established side. They did a bit. They did, yeah. But we since then have established ourselves as a good Premier League team, and we're not going to be overawed by it now. There might have been a little bit of that before. Do you know what I mean? There's players in there that would never have played at shitholes like the Theatre Nightmares. They've had experience now, although there's no fans in. They've played at some of these places. They've drawn or beaten really, really good top established sides, and I don't think that the players will fear anything from here on. I don't think they will. I think that we'll be a different Leeds to what played the first time against them. So I'm positive. And I think that rolls us nicely into predictions for this one, Gilly.
Yeah, that's fine. I was just having a quick look just while we were talking, then just to see if I could see any team news about Rafinha and so on. And
did you just call them United?
No, he's a liar.
Are you
He's
sure?
just trying to stitch me up. 99%.
99%. That's not 100.
Yeah.
That's not sure. That's only.
I'm never 100%.
Well,
sure.
It's been recorded, Jay. There will be sanctions.
I'll watch it back myself because I'd like to know, because it means I've been talking to my Liverpool and Newcastle mates too much, if that's the case. Which, my Newcastle fan mate, he calls them that, and he's Newcastle United fan, and he does it.
It's because of fucking Carragher and Neville and Keane and all that arseholes that do commentary, and that's all they call them. It does your fucking head in. You're right.
I'm excusing it just because I'm the only one here that hasn't.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, Matthew.
Do you know?
I might drop a C-bomb, but I don't do that.
It's going to be funny on on Sunday when we're all standing around hating them scum fuckers, and then all the scum fuckers are going to be hating the scum fuckers, which is it's got to be the first time we've actually all kind of stood there and went, your club's a fucking asshole, like.
Shit, I didn't realise
They are.
And they've agreed, and it's like that's got to be weird,
They've got
like a
two
Twilight
better
Zone
games
moment. Yeah.
Where the good
Right,
guys
okay.
here now.
Okay, we'll which round then? Jay, are you assuming you order 4-1?
Yeah, always, mate, always.
Carl, what are you going with?
Do it with your fingers, Carl. Do it with your fingers. Because you're not
That's what she said.
saying anything then.
Marty?
I'm not saying anything.
Ooh. I'm gonna say 1-1.
I knew you were going to do that.
In fact, no, fuck it. 2-1 Leeds. Fuck them.
That's it. Go on. Only need a bit of peer pressure.
And mine's already written. I've gone 3-2 Leeds.
Ooh.
You can't get out of it if you've already written it down.
That's
Luke's
it.
copying me. Look,
Luke's
Luke's
gone
copying me in
2-1.
comments. The shitbag.
Of course he is. He ain't got any ideas of his own, that lad.
Which
He's out
makes
on,
it
he's on
actually
Amazon now buying metal straws.
the one that's out in front for you, Casco, is actually 2-1 Leeds.
I'll take that.
Yeah,
That's
it won't be
okay.
too
A
bad.
win's a win.
Is that what your prediction is, Carl? You heard it here
No.
first.
It's an
There
OTA
it is. You just
exclusive.
said 2-1. Carl,
I didn't say the score. I said, but I'll take that.
I'll
That's fine.
take that. So you'll take 2-1. That's your prediction. There we go.
Luke's
Gambry.
changing. Smarty copied me to stay above me. Not having that, I'm changing 3-1 Leeds.
Ah, shit.
You're locked in now, Carl. That's it. So
Locked
with
into nothing.
with those shit bastards coming up, Carl, I'll let you lead us into the next bit of the podcast where we compare the managers of our club and our former manager of our club and the upcoming club.
Well, it is becoming quite the segment that we have on the pod. It's one that we all look forward to on a weekly basis, and it's called the Hawk Topic. It's where Jay basically explained what we do, their manager, or the Hawk. So I gotta go to you first, Marty. The Hawk or the bus driver, the PE teacher.
It's a very difficult decision, this one. I would. I'd rather shit in my hands and clap than pick that scum bastard. I'll be totally honest with you. And well, yeah. I mean, no one in the right mind. They can't even pick my there because he's ex fucking scum, is he?
Yeah.
I mean, he looks like Gollum, his granddad.
Yeah.
He talks weird. He's like a Norwegian and he talks like with a half mank fucking accent. He's a scum bastard. He's an ex-player scum bastard. The Hawk Topic. Here we are. Mr. Hockaday with his world record fucking pepper grinder. It's got to be fucking Hockaday for me, boys. Fuck that wanker.
That's okay. Jay?
Well, it's very difficult sometimes to compare other managers in the Hawk because we sometimes get managers who genuinely have achieved something in the game, but this time we haven't. We've just got a nobody. So I'm picking the Hawk because there's no discussion needed.
Yeah. So, Giddy?
Well, I mean, I'm fucked if I'm picking this old guy.
When you said that.
This is kind of, we're in a situation, and you have just said it, but I'm just going to reiterate. We are in a situation now where picking the Hawk is actually a really legitimate choice because we've got one PE teacher versus another, and neither of them, from a managerial standpoint at least, have done anything in the game at all.
No.
So this is a legitimate choice. I'm going with a Hawk.
Yeah. It's the easiest one we've ever had.
Yeah, I think that guy over there over the Pennines, he would literally fuck it up with salt shakers and peppers, whereas the Hawk, he knows how to handle salt, pepper, and
plus the bastard
ruined
ruined my night. The bastard ruined my night. It were all going so well. I mean, I hate Bayern Munich. I hate them. I really hate them, but not as much as I hate the scum. And they were losing that final, and it was beautiful. And he ruined it.
He did fucking ruin it, didn't he?
This
So yeah,
is
I'm going with the Hawk.
I have to go for counselling and everything.
Yeah, man, it's a clean sweep for the Hawk. Delighted to say. There's not really much else you can say because it was always going to be a clean sweep for the Hawk with this one. It was fairly obvious.
I've never picked anyone else. There is no one else. There is no one else.
There isn't.
Throw a curveball at you someday.
No one on that level.
I'm trying to think if I did. I think I may have. No, I think Pochettino had been sacked before we covered
Did you
that.
pick Pep?
Oh, maybe. I think no, it was Luke that picked Pep, wasn't it?
No, I did. I wasn't having Pep. No, he'd been at Munich. Bastards. 75. I'm not having any of that.
I remember. I think it was
No
Luke that
grudges.
literally had fucking babies and decided that we're all bastards.
Yeah.
I nearly said the C word. Nearly said the C word. We're all bastards. We don't know what we're talking about because we chose Hockaday over Pep, but fuck you, Sean Dash.
Enough said, I think. Anybody else got anything they want to add before I wrap this exciting episode up?
There has been a little bit of transfer news that's come in, and there has been a blow to Leeds' transfer opportunities in that Elland Road linked star has apparently signed a contract with Barcelona. So it looks like, we were all expecting Aguero, obviously, but it looks like he won't be coming now.
What a shame.
Oh dear. I was worried then, Gilix. I thought you were going to say Rodrigo de Paul, and I was just
So did I.
Walk off live, you know what I mean?
I
Football manager storm out of press conference.
He's ours. I'm actually the longer it goes on, the more I am actually growing in confidence that he signed a pre-contract with us and he's coming.
He's another Robin Cox scenario. Another Robin Cox scenario, yeah.
Surely there'd be more detail, or there'd be more little signs on social media and stuff that'd be coming though, like he'd be following accounts and all that sort of stuff to give little teasers. Little teasing bastard. I don't think he is following, is he?
Square ball. He's commenting on square ball.
Square ball. I know
he was
guys, but
I don't know if he was told to undo it, but he was definitely following some of our players' accounts.
Is that when he was trying to get a move over here though at the start of the season?
Maybe he did.
But he also followed that Leeds Life or something, the one with the image of the scarf in the hand. What's that? He was following them. He actually reposted a picture that's the one. He actually retweeted a picture with him in an LUFC kit on his Instagram account at one point, like with their little thing down in the bottom corner. So,
Just little thing.
Little thing.
Yeah, man, I sit in the back of the reggae band just playing my tune.
Jesus Christ, girl.
Xenophobic here. You get it all on the Ought to Know Better podcast.
You do. It's just everything's going on here. Right, well...
I play the triangle. I don't know what you're on about.
I think that about wraps us up this week. It's been fun doing this live, boys. I've enjoyed it. It's... even with Gilly's C-bomb, and Carl's triangle. Keep an eye out because we're going to have another in off the VAR coming up after the Scum game, I think. Probably with our friend Casco here, possibly, unless he's not available and he makes one of us do it.
That was one time. One time.
It's all right. Gilly goes AWOL. So join us.
Gilly also covers Casco when he drops out.
Yeah. I covered you last time, so I remember.
It's a team
Happy birthday to you.
Still hungover, is Gilly. You're a big one. So we'll have that coming up after Scum game. Oh, Jesus Christ. Join us for a Brady and Coke after that as well. I'm not. Who's hosting that this time?
I think it's me.
It's usually you and Adam on issues. It's like the drunken dream team, isn't it?
Adam and Carl.
Yeah.
I think I'm hosting.
Just get more and more pissed and keep egging each other on, don't they?
We need to, get a TV schedule out now that we're going live, lads. All right, so let's get it started.
Absolutely, we'll leave that to Scheduler Supreme up there, Gilly.
He's at it now. Look at him.
Yeah, that's it. He's writing it already.
Yeah. Falling asleep.
Actually, it's me and Mez.
Through his file of facts, look.
Was it you, Mez?
Mez,
I'm hosting
okay.
the main one then next week.
Oh, so it's Gilly and Luke then in that case. That'll be
you're hosting the main one.
Yeah.
So Luke and I are not on that one. So it'll be you three plus Adam on the main one with Carl hosting, and Luke and I. So I'm hosting. Cool.
Good stuff. All right, cool. Well, as always, look out for that. Join us for that. It'll no doubt be live again. We'll probably have the usual sort of stats before the game if his internet works this time. And if you're enjoying it, give us a like and a subscribe and a follow on Twitter, and keep watching and listening. And thank you very much. Right, it's been a good one, boys. Cheers.
Thanks a minute,
See you later. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.